everyone.
Hi.
Everyone. It is episode 73.
73 already?
Of Viva Physical Media.
Is this like my 20th episode or something?
I should go back and see when your first episode was,
because
we were definitely not.
First episode is 46.
Oh
my God.
Okay,
You're
it's been like, it's like coming up on 30 now.
Yeah, we're going to have to celebrate your
30th anniversary.
Dirty 30.
Yeah.
On Viva. Episode 73, it's been a little bit, probably not to you guys because we staggered some of the releases, but for us, yes.
We got a lot cooking tonight.
Sun's staying out past 4, which
I don't care for that.
I know, but that's neither here nor there. I need it.
I love it.
Yes.
I can't stand it. The only thing I like is that the sun is now, for another couple of weeks, the sun doesn't come up as early in the morning.
It does not, no.
But soon it'll be bright at like 5 a.m. I don't care for that. I don't care for that at all. I'm asleep. We got to hang up the blackout curtains in the new palatial Matt Lynch estate.
Oh, yeah, on the estate?
Yeah.
We were also talking about filming an episode just with you curled up sleeping on the chair like a little cat.
I'm so up for that.
And I'll just do the episode.
I love a good nap. I don't know if I can fit on one of these little chairs, though. I'm kind of tall.
We'll get recliners for the episode.
Sick.
Oh my gosh. If you guys work at a furniture store and want to give us some recliners to film the episodes on.
Also, I need a new couch. I want a big sectional. So if you got one of those you want to donate, I'll take one of those too.
I need a 5-drawer dresser for my bedroom because my drawers are all broken. So my broken pajama drawer is on my dining room table right now.
That's not where pajamas go.
I know. Don't I know it every time I walk into my dining room?
That means the next time I come over, there's not going to be a nice veggie spread. There's going to be a pile of PJs.
I'll make room for a veggie spread. You know it. You know I will. But yeah, right now, lots of PJs. Anyways, hook us up with the deals.
Yeah, give us some free furniture.
I don't fucking know.
We know that's why you watch the show.
But we have a good show up. Any Scarecrow news? I mean, we're trucking along.
Well, you can still kick it with Scarecrow Academy Politics on Film. That's going every Saturday.
Yes.
At 2 p.m. You can sign up for that on the website. What else do we got going on?
We're always doing rent by mail if you don't live in the area.
Always
and
doing
would
rent
like
by
to
mail.
rent some stuff from us.
Yeah, and fundraising season's going to start soon. So if you get those donations in early, that'll always help us out.
Start planning.
Get a membership.
Start planning your spring telethon party. Mm-hmm. Because we'll be there.
I agree.
Yeah, but let's get into show.
Mailbag.
It's a mailbag. We got one.
We got one mailbag from a longtime listener, I guess first-time caller. Has Brian ever written us a letter before?
No.
Well, let's see what Bri has to say. If you're not familiar with our friend Brian Saur, check him out on the Pure Cinema podcast. Check him out on Twitter, Rupert Pupkin Speaks.
Just the Discs podcast.
Just the Discs podcast. This guy is an incredible, the consummate movie fan.
Yes.
He's so open, and it's not that he likes everything, it's that he's just so open to all kinds of this different stuff, and he just loves movies, and he loves physical media, and he's a really, really good dude, and he's a good friend of the podcast.
Such good recs from him.
We interviewed him on a live stream, a couple live streams back for Video Store Day. Just a great dude, and he sent us a really nice email here. He says, "Hi, Brian. Hello, folks. Loving the show and am walking away with new recs every time, so thank you. You're very welcome.
Awesome.
Love all the segments of the show and that you do dog movies. Your discussion of Snoopy Come Home brought me back around to that one, as it had been a Peanuts movie that I've had a little trouble with for a long time, but now I see the light with it.
Yes.
Anyway, just going to throw out a handful of dog movies I like in case you ever needed any suggestions.
All right.
Number 1, Goodbye My Lady from 1956, directed by William Wellman.
Okay.
Number 2, Dogs from 1976, which we have done in the show way back.
Episode 3. Go back deep in the archives. Yeah. It was our 3rd ever dog movie. Check it out.
Bri says it's a serviceable, Jaws-y kind of dog movie with David McCallum as a scientist, I think, or a teacher. I can't remember. I believe he is a scientist. But he is leaving out that the last moment in the movie is fucking killer.
Is that the one with the cat?
You don't say anymore. Yes.
Go back to episode 3 or watch the movie or do both, everyone.
Yeah. Next, Trapped from 1973. James Brolin gets mugged in a department store bathroom while he's trying to pick up a toy for his kid. He gets knocked out and wakes up after they let the killer guard dogs loose in the store for the night. He has to try to not get killed. It's fun. I believe this is also called Doberman Patrol. And we'll talk a little bit more about this one later. Karate Dog, 2004.
Okay, this one's been on my radar for years now.
Okay, this one's not very good, but it does feature Chevy Chase as the voice of the dog, and it's directed by Bob Clark. I have seen Karate Dog.
Wait, I didn't know it's directed by Bob Clark.
Yes.
What does this man not do?
I've seen Karate Dog. I believe I watched Karate Dog in the store while I was working.
Yeah.
It's not very good.
In my mind's eye, I can see the cover of that movie.
Anyway, he says, thank you and keep up the great show. You guys are killing it, Brian. You're also killing it, Brian.
Thanks for the support.
Thank you for all that you do for physical media, and thank you for the support, and thank you for writing us this lovely letter.
Yeah.
We are definitely going to take at least one of these suggestions, so don't worry.
Yeah.
I guess that's a mailbag.
Is that the way? I would love to talk about how people can mailbag us in the future. Hold the phone. If you want to send us an email, please do so at viva@scarecrow.com. We'd love your recommendations. If you've gotten any good recommendations from us that really hit it out of the park that you want to let us know about, I love hearing that. Send us pictures of your physical media collections. Those are cool. Pictures of your animals, what you've been watching, suggestions for the show, whatever. You know, we just love to hear from you. You can write a letter and send it to Scarecrow Video, 5030 Roosevelt Way Northeast, Seattle, Washington, 98105. Or come into the store and just like say hey. And I believe that will now be a...
No, I need a timeout.
Mailbag.
I think I see the content warning right over there.
The following segment contains frank discussion of adult themes. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, baby. Yep. Painted them just the way you like them. Yep, size 9. I just want... I'll talk to you later, Quentin. Perverts, how are you? I'm well, thank you for asking. But you know what I've been craving lately? I watch Poor Things, and you know what? I just need some more Ruffalo in my life. So let's watch In the Cut. 2003, directed by Jane Campion. It's based on a book, which I actually did not know that. And it follows the story of Fanny, which, yes, is a term for a lady's vagina in British slang, just so you know.
And Virginia?
Vagina, as in he penetrated her Virginia with a hammer.
She's an English teacher living in New York. This is actually post 9/11 as well, just so you get the vibe of it. And there's a killer on the loose, and he's murdering women, and bits and pieces of women are being found all over.
3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm taking out the first article of clothing.
Right by her apartment, for example. And that's how she meets Detective Malloy.
Can I smoke?
Not in my apartment.
Now you got someplace you can put it out.
Played by the mustache, dirtbag, sexy man, Mark Ruffalo. Young Mark Ruffalo, too, might I add. This erotic thriller came out and people fucking hated it. I like it a lot, though. She filmed it in a kind of like a feminist point of view. It's very anti-male gaze. It's more of the female gaze. Kind of like you get this perception of what women feel like constantly being watched, especially when you live in a city. I know a lot of women probably feel this way when you just like, you know, you're just out and about, living your life, and you just feel like eyes are upon you. And you get that point of view a lot in this movie as Fanny walks around New York and as she interacts with these different male characters who, they're all fucking awful, crude, terrible, misogynistic pieces of shit. But that's how men are. I'm just kidding. And it kind of hits on this aspect of female desire of danger and sex mixed together, the sexiness and allure. Detective Malloy, when he meets Fanny, you can definitely tell like there's a chemistry there. She's like attracted to him, even though she's also kind of repulsed by him at the same time. And his partner, the way they speak to each other in front of her, it's just very, very off-putting.
That chick.
Yeah? What's up?
That chick wants to suck your dick. Well, you need her. 2 tits, a hole, and a heartbeat.
You don't even need the tits.
You don't even need the heartbeat, pal.
It's an erotic thriller, but it's kind of not. There's not really a femme fatale. You know, Fanny is the main character, and she's put in the situation where she doesn't know who the killer is. It could be any of the men that she interacts with. They're all weird and kind of crazy and seeking attention from her in some way. Did I mention Fanny is played by Meg Ryan, the gorgeous, gorgeous Meg Ryan. This role was during her kind of a serious move away from rom-coms, and people did not like that as well. It's just like a serious role. You see her naked, you see her nude. The sex scenes are very, very hot, and it's also the sex scenes are kind of cool because they're like shot in a female point of view of focusing on Fanny's pleasure and not Mark Ruffalo. It's all about how she orgasms, which is really hot and really cool. I like it a lot. Meg Ryan's a badass in this movie too. She just doesn't give a fuck. She kind of like lives her life and like moves throughout the world, doing what she wants, and just kind of like blowing off these guys who just want her attention and want her to love them.
Oh, Miss, how you doing? Excuse me, can I talk to you for a minute?
Am I supposed to get in?
Jennifer Jason Leigh is in this movie. Kevin Bacon. Okay, I always forget Kevin Bacon is in this movie until I see him. And I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, Kevin Bacon's in this movie.
Hi. You look terrible.
Excuse me, sir. No dogs in here.
I know that.
He plays a really weird character, too. That's very not normal for him, acting-wise. The movie's really horny, very sexy. It's got this great haziness to it. The camera's always not out of focus, a little bit out of focus, and also just like constantly on the move, moving around the scene, which is really cool. This is a dirty New York movie, post 9/11, so it's got a kind of a weird, unsafe, scary vibe to it in the background, which is kind of cool. Mark Ruffalo, his sexual allure is that he's kind of like maybe a little bit of a predator, but also a protector, and that's kind of hot. In a very toxic way. I'll talk to my therapist later. Yeah, there's a great deconstruction of the fantasy of marriage and relationships in this movie. Kind of like dissect. A lot of dissection happens in this movie, both metaphorically and physically. 5 out of 5 Ruffalo mustache rides.
Would you trust a guy who gets blowjobs in bars?
Yes.
You've got to be kidding me.
What?
We're missing pieces here. Look at this poor cat. It's about to go snorkeling and everything, too.
Everyone's new favorite segment is now here.
Volume 2 of this new segment.
Volume 2 of Missing Pieces, where me and Matt watch a movie from a director that we really like, but we maybe just haven't seen some missing pieces.
Yeah.
So
I had a good one this time. I'm excited to see what you came up with.
Oh, yeah? Should I go first or should you?
You should go first.
Okay, my missing piece this time is a movie called The Last Days of Chez. This is from Gillian Armstrong.
Gillian Armstrong's directing style, characterized by its sensitivity, attention to detail, and focus on character development, is exemplified in films such as My Brilliant Career and Little Women. In these films, Armstrong explores the inner lives of her characters, particularly women, with empathy and depth. She is known for her strong narratives, well-developed characters, and visually striking imagery, creating atmospheric settings that enhance the emotional impact of her stories. Armstrong's style is marked by its humanism and ability to connect with audiences on a personal level.
Who I really adore. Little Women, etc. Starstruck, which I've talked about on this show before. My Brilliant Career, which I've also talked about on the show. And this one is absolutely unstreamable, only on physical media. Had some good reviews, so I said, why not? Also, funnily enough, it stars Carrie Fox, who starred in Angel at My Table, the Jane Campion movie that I did last Missing Pieces, and I didn't realize it until I was already into this one.
Sick.
So that's cool, and I really love her work. So I'm interested in seeing more of what she has done. This is a drama set in the 90s about two sisters. They kind of have a large age gap. One's, I think, like early 40s, and the other one's early 20s.
Okay, which of you two moles got stuck into this cake?
Oh, the Butterworth.
Yes! Cheryl Butterworth, still top dog around here.
And the girl in the early 20s or mid-20s, she comes back to live with her sister for a while. And her sister is married to a curmudgeonly French guy.
I just want you to love me.
Mais pour être aimé, il faut savoir se faire aimer.
They have a kid, and their marriage is going. The younger sister comes in and kind of breathes life into the household, but with that comes its own set of conflicts.
Yuck.
There's also a road trip involving the older sister and her dad, where they kind of travel around Australia to try to find some kangaroos and see cool shit, you know, stuff like that.
How many kangaroos? We'll see herds and herds of them. No emus either. What's happened to this country?
I haven't watched just like a straight drama in a long time, and this was actually really mesmerizing. The performances are really strong. The small details, especially in the location, a lot of it just takes place inside of their home. So all the different rooms and the details in the room, close-ups on the domestic duties that happen around the house. Oh, the French guy is Bruno Ganz, who was in Wings of Desire.
Yeah.
He does really good, but he's also kind of...
Black and white. Why do you ask this question?
Manhattan was in black and white, wasn't it?
You don't even want to know. You just ask questions to have something to say. Why must you always have something to say?
They talk about abortion, and they deal with that in a very modern way. It's a really solid movie, and I'm really happy to come across it and add it to the growing list of Gillian Armstrong movies that I really enjoy.
What's your favorite Gillian Armstrong movie so far?
Well, Little Women holds such a place in my heart, but...
Do you prefer that to The Gerwig?
They're so...
They're different. They're very different. Yeah,
But I
like
think
them
for
both
nostalgia, like reasons, I have the '90s Little Women. But I really love My Brilliant Career. I think it's so good, and we showed it at the Beacon for one of the ladies' nights, and just seeing it like with a crowd of women like in a theater was just fucking cool.
That's killer. I actually own the Gillian Armstrong one because it's the only way to get. It's on a double feature Blu-ray with Marie Antoinette.
Dude, that's such a cool double feature Blu-ray.
And I was like, well, I need to have Marie Antoinette on Blu-ray, so I guess I have Little Women now too. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I mean, Viva Physical Media for that alone. So yeah, check this out if you can come across it somewhere. It's worth it for sure. What you got?
Okay, so I'm a big fan of the director Bob Fosse.
Bob Fosse, known for his work in musical theatre and film, had a distinctive style blending jazz, burlesque, and vaudeville. His films, like Cabaret and All That Jazz, showcase his meticulous choreography and attention to detail. Fosse's work often delves into the darker aspects of human nature, using innovative techniques to blur the line between fantasy and reality. His style is bold, sophisticated, and emotionally resonant, leaving a lasting impact on the worlds of theater and film.
Who most people are familiar with from being a choreographer and a dancer. He directed a great movie called All That Jazz, which a lot of people know. He directed Cabaret. You know, he also choreographed those Broadway shows and stuff. This is one that he also did. It's called Sweet Charity. And it stars Shirley MacLaine. It is based on a Broadway musical with a book by Neil Simon that is based in itself on Nights of Cabiria.
Ooh, I love that.
My favorite Fellini film.
Is that your favorite Fellini?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, it
you
is,
guys.
in my opinion, in a walk, it's his best movie. And that's saying something because obviously Fellini made a lot of great films.
Yeah, I'm a La Dolce Vita girl.
I mean, you can't go wrong. I think for me, it's all about Giulietta Massina. Like, her face, like she's, front and center in Cabiria, so it's terrific. Anyway, so yeah, Shirley MacLaine, in Nights of Cabiria, Giulietta Massina plays a sex worker.
They have similar vibes, Shirley MacLaine, and
they totally do.
Like, thinking about it.
In this, she's a dance hall hostess.
Okay.
That's sort of reflective of American social mores.
Excuse me, Miss Valentine, but your escort has just shelled out $6.50 to dance with you, and I do not see you dancing.
But yeah, she is just like out and about, like trying to find love, trying to seek her fortune, trying to make her way in the world. The songs are really good.
How's about a few fun laughs, fun laughs, fun laughs, fun laughs, fun laughs, good time, fun laughs, good time, fun laughs, good time, fun laughs.
The musical numbers are amazing. Fosse choreographed the show, and he choreographed the numbers in this. They're really, really cool. There's an especially great sort of middle 30 minutes of this where Shirley MacLaine meets a famous actor played by Riccardo Montalban.
That's Vittorio Vitali, the Italian movie star.
Ursula, I can explain everything.
Don't touch me, we're through. I hate you, you hear me? I hate you. She really knows him.
And then goes back to a party with him, and there's this really, really long, elaborate musical number at the party where all the dancers do all these different dances, and like it'll show a title card with the name of the dance, and then they do a different thing. It's really cool. And then she goes back to his apartment and they have like kind of a situation. It's not really like a liaison or a hookup or anything. It's totally different than that.
Like if some Weisenheimer down at the Fandango says something dirty to me sometime or something fresh, and I can't think fast enough to answer, I like to say up yours.
You do?
Oh yeah, that really works. It fits just about any situation.
It's very reflective in the way that Cabiria was of her, the sort of girls like just trying to figure herself out. Like, oh, I fell into this weird situation. Oh, it didn't quite work out. And am I going to feel sorry for myself, or am I going to like pick myself up and move forward?
Find the next thing, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's really, really good.
Wow.
You know, eventually she does find someone that she's like interested in, like as an actual romantic partner, and we get to follow that whole part of the story too. It's just really cool. It's colorful. It's extremely well directed. If you're a fan of Fosse's work, if you've watched his other movies, you will absolutely recognize his photographic and like directorial style here. There's a lot of kind of elaborate camera moves, a lot of moving around through structures. I mean, obviously the dance choreography is incredible. The costumes are really, really great.
I want to see this now.
Shirley MacLaine is
selling it.
Totally awesome in it. There's also some other really cool cast members like Sammy Davis Jr. is in it, Cheetah Rivera's in it.
There's gotta be something better to do. And when I find me something better to do, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna get up, get out and do it.
I'm sure I'm forgetting someone. It's really, really cool. I'm kind of shocked, given the fact that I love all of his other movies, that I never caught this one before. But I just absolutely loved it. And if you watch this Blu-ray, it actually has all the like overture, intermission, like it's total like an old 60s musical. It's really, really great. I can't recommend it highly enough. It's just so much fun. So yeah, definitely check out Sweet Charity. It's not my favorite Bob Fosse movie. That's Star 80. But
Star 80.
Of course it is, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Intense movie. But I mean, literally all of his movies are great. I mean, Sweet Charity, Cabaret, all that jazz.
I'm
Star
gonna
80.
have to watch Sweet Charity because that looks great.
I think you'd really enjoy it.
I think this was a successful Missing Pieces.
I agree. These pieces aren't missing anymore.
They're not. The puzzle has been completed. Kind of. There's always more. Anyways, that's Missing Pieces. I don't have a conclusion for the segment.
Look, Walter, there's a girl in there drowning.
Don't look, dear.
But Walter!
Don't look, I tell you. Don't get involved. It's none of our business.
All right, we're getting into it. We got some movies to talk about, believe it or not. And the first movie...
I don't believe it.
I know, it's incredible. First movie I'm talking about is the New Zealand hit. It's probably not a hit. Smash Palace.
Nights are tight, but they don't feel right.
Smash Palace.
Smash Palace from 1981. Directed by Roger Donaldson, he was a big Spence's Killing Us guy.
He is. Yeah, we've done a few of his movies on it.
He also directed Cocktail.
Indeed.
I think this might have been his first movie. I didn't write that down, but I believe that is true. So this is kind of like another kind of domestic drama that kind of tumbles into thriller horror territory. It follows this man who used to be a race car driver, and then he got married and had a kid, and his father owned an auto repair / like wreck shop where like fucked up cars go to die. I don't know. I'm not a car person. But it was called Smash Palace, and he passed away, so his son, our lead dude, kind of takes over, and it's only supposed to be until he can sell it.
When we first came here 8 years ago,
When Al's father died, it was just supposed to have been for a couple of months to sell the place and wind up the business. But once we got here...
So his wife's like, all right, when are you going to sell this place? But he's kind of getting more and more wrapped up in this because he can't race anymore because he's a family man. But now he's becoming obsessed with taking in shitty, falling apart cars, and he's also like, you know, I'm going to go back and race someday. So he's really in his head about this. He's not selling. They've been there for years and years now. And their marriage is falling apart.
You ever treat me like that, you brute!
Leave that bloody cunt leave.
So his wife's just kind of screaming into the void about their marriage falling apart, and eventually has an affair with his best friend.
Just never seen you like this before.
Well, I don't know, when my man's too busy greasing up back axles instead of making sure that I'm not up to no good, then I think I'm entitled to a bit of fun.
So this kind of sparks a mental breakdown from our lead dude.
Al?
I always wondered what would happen if we stopped.
Al, stop it! Get going! What are you doing?
Because he doesn't know what to do next. He's like, I have to hold on to something. I don't know which life I want. Like this, she's telling me I can't see my kid.
Now she's my kid and I'll do what I want with her! Now piss off!
And he basically just has a meltdown, and it has a really like jazzy, synthy, suspenseful score that works really well. The performances are just like super fucking uncomfortable and raw, and it's for such a grim movie, it's just really gorgeous to look at because it's filmed in like the middle of nowhere, New Zealand, at this like.
It's a weird name for a place.
Car junkyard place, and as weird as that sounds, it's like really gorgeously filmed.
Seems like it would make a good double feature with Dead End Drive-In.
Dead End Drive-In's so cool.
Same.
Someone on Letterboxd wrote, I thought this was really good. Someone called it the New Zealand equivalent to Schrader's Man in Crisis movies, which I thought was very, very
That's
apt.
compelling.
Yeah. So this one is one that I've like seen just on our shelves, and I've always thought like the cover was really cool. Arrow Academy release. So I finally grabbed it. I had really no idea what to expect, but it surprised me. I was super, super into this one. I actually watched this one almost a month ago now, and it's just stuck with me.
With you?
Yeah. So Smash Palace.
Smash Palace.
Smash Palace.
Better be hubcaps on there in the morning, lads. Nah, besides, I got too much to do here.
So my first movie is one that I first encountered here on an old Region 3 disc back in the day where we used to get all the foreign DVDs way before they came out in America. And this is still a classic in my opinion. I revisited it, The Twilight Samurai. If you've been watching the new television program concerned SHŌGUN, which is really good, by the way, I'm really enjoying it. Looks great. Historically accurate, very different from the novel, but uses the best parts of the novel to tell a really good story. The sort of main lord on SHŌGUN, Lord Toranaga, is played by Hiroyuki Sanada, who stars in this film, The Twilight Samurai. And if you don't know anything about Japanese movies or Sanada in general, this guy goes way back. This guy has been famous since the mid-70s, like contemporaneous with like Sonny Chiba. He studied under Sonny Chiba as a martial artist. All this, like this guy is an OG Japanese star, just like Takakura Ken or somebody like that. And this movie is kind of the movie that I think really introduced him to Western audiences, even though it was many, many, many years into his filmmaking career. This came out in like 2005 or 6, I want to say.
Oh, 2002.
Oh, really? Okay, so.
Ooh, RBA, too.
I guess I was one of the first movies I ever rented here then. It's really, really good. And it's basically a simple drama. It's also directed by a guy named Yamada Yoji, who directed almost all of the Tora-san films. And so we're talking like, what, 60 movies or something like? I don't know how many there are. I may be exaggerating. But it's this many on the shelf. Yeah, it's a lot. And they're all very, very similar movies. But I mean, like the guy was like an old master. And he hadn't directed anything in a long time when this came out. And this was kind of like, he came back and then they made some more Tora-san films. He made some other movies on his own. Anyway, so this movie takes place sort of towards the end of a feudal period in Japanese history. And Sanada plays a samurai who was a vassal for his lord.
判明に逆らうわけにはいきますね。私も侍の端くれでガンスだけ。
But he has fallen on some hard times. His wife was very sick and passed away, and she was like, he married up, so she was a station above him, and when she passed away, he had to pay a lot of money for her funeral, and that took a lot of his finances away. And also he's taking care of his mother-in-law who is sick. She's succumbing to dementia.
お母さん、ご気分どうでがんす？
あんたどこのお店で？
うな坂藩小倉方の井口清兵衛でがんす。
So that's taking a lot of his resources away. He has 2 daughters. That's taking a lot of his time and resources away. He's not making a ton of money as his salary goes anyway.
はい、この男の禄高は50石でガンス。お借り上げが20石でガンス酒、手取りが30。それでは幼い娘や年取った母親を養うのは無理であろうの。はい。
And so the other samurai with whom he works, they make fun of him because he's kind of unkempt, disheveled. He's not able to bathe as regularly because he can't afford the bathhouse fees, things like that. They call him Twilight.
つまらん男だの、黄昏は。
It's like a derogatory name.
They make fun of him because he watches the Twilight movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He longs to romantically sort of entangle himself with this woman who he has known since they were childhood friends, and they kind of have mutual feelings for each other. But again, she's a station above him, just like his wife who passed away. And so he's reluctant to kind of pursue that relationship because he doesn't want to put either of them in that position again.
平田家150石の娘だったとも結局最後まで身分の差には馴染めなかったんだ。骨折って出世なさいまし。でねど実家の者が悲しみますさけ。病を得てからも口癖のようにそれ言っていただっけ。あげたような哀れな思いを巴さんにはさせたくねえ。
Meanwhile, there's some controversy in his career because somebody has sort of gone rogue and defied their lord and basically needs to be killed. But the guy is he's too good of a swordsman. The first person that they send after him gets killed. And so after a situation occurs where Sanada has to sort of prove himself in a duel, the local politicians see that he's a skilled swordsman and send him after this other guy. Something he doesn't want to do. And it's just sort of all of the situations kind of flow into each other towards the end where he has to make these decisions like, is he going to maintain his honor as a samurai? Is he going to prioritize his family or this relationship that he wants to have with this woman, but is sort of unattainable? It's not what I would call complex, even though there's all that plot stuff I just articulated. It's very simple, but it's mostly just about this good man trying to live a quiet life.
2人の娘が日々育っていく様子を見ているのは、なんていうか、例えば畑の作物や草花の成長を眺めるのにも似て、実に楽しいものでがんす。
He doesn't want to be a fighter or a soldier anymore. He talks multiple times about how one of the things that he's expected to do as a samurai is to lay down his life to kill, but he has no interest in violence anymore. He just wants to take care of his family. It's really, really sweet. By the end, it all wraps up very satisfyingly, but there's still a bittersweet coda. I loved this when it first came out, and I was surprised to find that it's exactly as good now.
Oh, fantastic.
And a tremendous lead performance, a beautiful cinematography, very, very simple. I wouldn't want to directly compare it to something like Ozu, but it has that quiet economy, not a lot of flashy cutting, not a lot of camera movement. It's just a simple, simple movie. It's super good. If you haven't seen this, absolutely check it out. It's not really easy to see. I don't think it's streamable anywhere, but Twilight Samurai, man, this is like one of the best Japanese films of the last 20 years.
People have been telling me to watch this movie for a very long time because it is right up my alley. And they were right. Because the next movie I'm talking about is Little Darlings.
Yeah, I can't believe you hadn't seen this before.
I can't either. Well, for a long, long time, up until literally like a month or two ago, this was only on VHS. Yeah. I do have a VCR, obviously, you guys have seen me talk about them, but I don't know why I just was kind of like holding out or something, and I'm kind of glad I did because this looks great.
This new 4K looks really good.
4K looks great by Vinegar Syndrome's new sublabel, Cinématograph.
Yes. Thank you, Justin All Liberty.
Great stuff. Art's amazing. Booklet's amazing. Essays, so good. This movie is great. 1980, directed by a guy named Ronald F. Maxwell, who, I don't know, did a couple other things, but... It stars Tatum O'Neal as a girl named Ferris, and she's like a rich girl. And Christy McNichol is a girl named Angel, who's kind of tough from the other side of the tracks. And they meet at summer camp.
No, you guys, no, don't fight.
And this movie is a sex comedy for girls, and it's so delightful. They go to the summer camp. We're introduced to Alexa Kennan, who is absolutely amazing. She is the best friend in Pretty in Pink.
I said I hope they shrivel up and fall off.
You hope what shrivels up and falls off?
Her breasts, misdeeds.
She passed away like right after that movie came out, but she's not even like a main character in this, but she's absolutely magnetic.
You know what my favorite movie was? Last Tango in Paris. I saw it 10 times.
We have a young Cynthia Nixon from Sex and the City, Miranda, as like a little hippie girl.
Miranda, come on.
Yeah, yes. Steve's Miranda is in this movie.
Nice to keep you from freaking out. Come on, take one.
As a little hippie girl, and you can like just see her face. It's so crazy to see someone like that young. I don't know. All of the performances are great. We have a baby Matt Dillon.
Hi, girls.
A stud. Absolute stud.
A stud.
We have, what's his name? Armando Asante.
Oh, Armando Asante.
No, I'm not married. No. Are you?
Yeah.
From Q&A.
Yeah. From Q&A, which is right there. So they're at summer camp. Tatum and Christy, okay, Ferris and Angel, I'm going to keep going back and forth between their real name and their character name. They don't like each other at all. They're so different, but they also like don't really like anyone else at the summer camp either. But they become the kind of point of focus when one girl decides to make a bet.
Angel versus Ferris. Whoever loses her virginity first wins.
I'll put $10 on her. Yeah, me too.
It's like a bet. People are putting in their allowances. The main girl, the main bitchy girl, she did a commercial.
I'll bet my residual check.
For what? Residual check.
That Paris will become a woman by the end of the summer.
How much?
$100.
Oh my
She's gonna
God.
put it all on the line because she wants Ferris to lose her virginity, and they have until the end of the summer to do it. The movie is just super. It like shows. It just has so much heart. It shows these girls, and they don't even really want to be involved, but they end up being like fine because they just want to find connection. Not even necessarily to the boys that they want to have sex with or whatever, but to the girls around them. And if this is the only way, well then sure, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And they're both so different, and yet they come together in spite of it and almost because of the position that they're put in. Ferris goes after Armando Asante, is that how you say his name? Asante, who is the counselor, like the coach. He's like the sports guy. He's pretty cute in this too, but
He's so old.
completely not appropriate. But she tries to seduce him, and he's definitely not super cool about it. That goes one way, and then Angel falls in love with Matt Dillon, who's just like a dumb, like Budweiser drinking, like motorcycle driving guy. They really focus on a lot of like female gazy stuff. Like we linger on Matt Dillon's butt in his Levi's like multiple times, you know. And they're like, the girls are like spying on the boys, like skinny dipping and stuff.
An unmatched form and feature. A blown youth blazed with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me. To see what I have seen.
You've heard me talk about all these like rom-coms and stuff. It's stuff like that, but like from a very female perspective, which is interesting because it was directed by a man, but it was written by 2 women. So take what you can get, I guess, ladies. Am I right? 1981, the outfits, the fashion, the struggles, the friendship. There's a part where they steal a car because they need to. They're like, what about protection for when we eventually have sex? So they steal the school bus and they drive to like a rest stop and break the condom machine in the men's bathroom. It's so funny. I was so late on this, but I'm so happy that I kind of held off and got to see this really, really awesome, remastering of it, because it is just, it's great. It's an instant favorite of mine, and I'll be recommending this for like years to come.
I'm really glad you liked it. I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah.
No. I wasn't one of the people that was telling you.
It's a surprise to no one who is watching this that knows this movie and knows me, but if you haven't gotten a chance, now is your chance to check this out. So Little Darlings.
Yeah.
Play something sexy.
All right, so my next one is just sort of a random revisit. I recently watched the new Wim Wenders movie, Perfect Days.
I heard that was great.
It's really, really good, and it's just about this guy sort of going about this day-to-day life. And it reminded me of this Jim Jarmusch movie that I really loved from a few years ago, and I decided to rewatch it, and it is called Patterson.
I've never seen this one.
You haven't seen this one?
And I fucking love him.
It's so good. Okay, so this movie stars Adam Driver, and Adam Driver plays a guy named Patterson.
Your name really Patterson, or they just nicknamed me that?
No, my real name is Patterson.
And he lives in Patterson, New Jersey, and he drives a bus, and he's a poet, and his favorite poet is William Carlos Williams, who is also from Patterson, New Jersey, and who wrote a book of poems called Patterson.
Patterson, baby.
Oh my God.
And it is just about his day-to-day life. Adam Driver wakes up in the morning, and he has this lovely girlfriend played by, I believe her name is Golshifteh Farahadi, and she's awesome. She's also great in the Extraction movies with Chris Hemsworth, where she gets to be like a badass mercenary. And she's kind of crazy and has her own like sort of eclectic style and has a lot of big dreams and wants to be a stylist and a decorator and all this stuff.
Sign of what, honey?
My dream. To have my own cupcake business, of course.
And he goes to work and packs his lunch and drives his bus and then reads and writes his poetry during the day. And then he goes home and he walks the dog and he goes to the bar and he hangs out at the bar, and then he goes home and he has kind of a very specific routine. And
hey, Patterson, right on time.
Let me tell you, I would change lives with this guy in a hot fucking second. But all that aside, the personal investment that I have in his life aside, I really, really love this movie because of the way it sort of reflects the idea of its base source material, which is just the idea of poetry itself. He spends a lot of time just observing things, putting them into words.
We have plenty of matches in our house. We keep them on hand always. Currently, our favorite brand is Ohio Blue Tip, though we used to prefer Diamond brand.
There is a lot of very quoTITTIian beauty to this.
Quotidian?
quoTITTIian. quoTITTIian.
Nice.
There's lots of boobs. No. quoTITTIian beauty, there's a lot of, this movie can be looked at like a poem. There are stanzas where there are sort of repeated lines and then new things that enter into every sort of graph, There are repeated images. At the very beginning of the movie, he's lying in bed with his girlfriend, and she's like, I had a dream that we had babies, and they were twins. If we had babies, would you want to have twins?
Twins? Sure, why not? One for each of us.
throughout the entire movie, he keeps seeing twins.
That's cool. I like that.
You know, so like one day he gets up and he goes and drives his bus and he hears a conversation between some characters that somehow the subject matter of that conversation comes up again later in the day. The process repeats the next day and the next day. But maybe the third day, the bus breaks down and there's a disruption in his routine and it causes him to do different kinds of reflection. Or maybe he meets an interesting person, like at one point he meets a little girl who also is a poet.
Okay. Water falls. Water falls from the bright air. It falls like hair, falling across a young girl's shoulders. Water falls, making pools in the asphalt, dirty mirrors with clouds and buildings inside.
And she reads him one of her poems and he really loves it. And then he goes home and sort of quotes it to his girlfriend. It's very, very beautiful. It retains the structure of a poem without really deviating from it being the story of this guy's sort of day-to-day life. It's got a great cast. The guy who plays Chidi on The Good Place is in it as well. One of the conversations he overhears on the bus is between the two kids who were the couple in Moonrise Kingdom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's
and they're you know they're obviously older now.
Yeah.
And then at the end there's a really great scene where he meets a Japanese man who's visiting Patterson, New Jersey because he's a big aficionado of William Carlos Williams as well. And they have a conversation about what it's like to be a poet. This movie is just front to back beautiful. It's
great.
long and slow, but like not in a lugubrious way. It's like you sink into it. It fills you up. It's so good. For a long time, I was kind of a Jarmusch agnostic. I didn't love his movies. And then he made 2 movies back to back, Only Lovers Left Alive and this. And those movies together, I loved them.
Yeah.
And they convinced me to go back and start at the beginning and rewatch all of his movies.
yeah.
And I fell in love with them for the first time. It was great.
I love that.
This has so much to say about the rest of his work. It has so much to say about it, just the idea of being an artist and being just a person in the world. It's a beautiful, beautiful movie. I wish it was more beloved, but almost everyone that I know who watches it immediately falls in love with it.
Yeah, it's unsung. I feel like maybe people are just kind of slipped under people's radars.
Yeah, I mean, and I also think that the idea of it sounds boring to people, so maybe they don't give it a shot.
Right.
But it is one of his best movies. I just think it's spectacular, and you can't go wrong. Just please watch Patterson.
I will.
Well, now that you ask, no, not really. My kid needs braces on her teeth. My car needs a transmission job. My wife wants me to take her to Florida, but I'm behind on the mortgage payments. My uncle called from India and he needs money for my niece's wedding, and I got this strange rash on my back. You name it, brother.
Woof, woof, woof. It's time for a dog movie.
Oh, yeah, we have a hero of a dog this time.
Oh, I love this movie.
I'm so glad. Had you ever seen it before?
Nope.
Fantastic. So you guys were talking about Balto, which was one of my favorite movies when I was growing up, and first time watch for you.
I love this. It's just a straight up classic hand-drawn animated adventure movie. It looks great. The voice casting is great. The character design is great. It's scary, sad, emotional, exciting. I loved it.
It hits it. This is
and it's like 74 minutes long or something like that.
1995, Simon Wells, Fievel Goes West, Prince of Egypt.
Oh.
This was executive produced by Steven Spielberg.
It shows.
And it shows, yeah, for sure. Balto is voiced by none other than Kevin Bacon.
My name's Balto.
And he is a half wolf, half dog.
Rosie, stay away from him!
Dad!
He might bite you, honey. He's part wolf.
I feel like it's weird that they make fun of him for being part wolf.
Oh, Balto. I've got a message for your mother.
It's racist.
It's racist, but also, I mean, like, part wolf seems pretty sick. Like,
they're doing it to mask because deep inside they're insecure and scared.
Yeah.
Because there's a really dickish main guy. Steele, voiced by Jim Cummings.
Oh, Jim. Okay.
And he is a jerk, and he's like the best at everything.
Good wordplay there, boss. You are the wittiest, the quickest. You are the drollest, the cleverest, the sharpest. You are the most hilarious.
You guys know these type of characters in like every movie. It's kind of formulaic like
He's the bully.
Yeah, he's the bully. And then we have Balto's best friend, who is Boris the Goose, voiced by Bob Hoskins.
No. I'm a delicate country bird.
That goose is amazing. He's so funny.
It's fucking Bob Hoskins doing a Russian accent.
Bob Hoskins
as a goose.
I feel like there's a case to be made that Bob Hoskins might be the greatest actor of all time.
I'm willing to hear and accept that case.
Almost nobody could have pulled off Who Framed Roger Rabbit except Bob Hoskins.
That's been coming up a lot lately, and I really want to rewatch that movie.
Oh, it's so good.
We also have a really like sexy girl dog named Jenna, voiced by Bridget Fonda.
I'm afraid the only way Steele notices anyone is if they're wearing a mirror.
I miss Bridget Fonda. I wish she was in more movies. I wish she would come out of retirement.
Yeah, I'll let her know.
Okay.
I have to admit your offer is very tempting.
This movie is framed in a really interesting way. The framing device of this movie is in real life, not cartoon, at Central Park, where this woman is walking around trying to find this monument.
But it was here, someplace.
But we've already been past here.
With her granddaughter and their little puppy husky.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, well, let's sit on this bench for a second while I like try to figure out where the fuck I am.
Let's sit on this bench while you can shut the fuck up for a second,
And they
little
actually,
girl.
for this framing device, they shut down Central Park. Because it even looks like when you're watching it, you're like, that's way too empty.
Imagine Spielberg just picking up the red phone and going like, shut it down.
Shut it down.
Click.
And I guess people were like pissed about it too.
Ah, fuck them.
And so she sits down and she's like, let me tell you a story of what happened.
Nome, Alaska. It's a small town almost on top of the world. Now that really was in the middle of nowhere, sweetheart. In the cold winter of
1925, Nome, Alaska. Imagine. Cold. People are sick. There's no medicine.
This rich couple moves to this town in Alaska.
Yes. And this little girl has a dog. She has Jenna. And she wants to be a sled racer, dog driver, or whatever you call it.
That's it. I love these runners. I love this brush bow. I love this sled.
And she gets a little sled and a little hat. And
So cute.
It's very cute. And they're racing dogs outside. And Balto's getting bullied by all the dogs.
Because he wants to join the sled team, but they won't let him.
And he's fast as fuck. He goes to like grab the little girl's hat because it flew into the race.
When will you learn to stay on the sidelines?
Mm-hmm. He ends up winning the race, not even trying.
Yep. It's kind of like when Marmaduke won the surfing contest.
It's exactly like when Marmaduke won the surfing
But that
contest.
movie was way worse than this.
Happy thoughts. Happy thoughts. I'm running through a meadow. I'm peeing on everything.
Steele, the Jim Cummings character, is just absolutely terrible. And you know what's funny? I read that they wanted to cast Brendan Fraser in the role of Steele because they wanted to have it be more of like a
More
conceited
charismatic?
jock.
Oh,
like
I see.
someone who was like so kind of dumb in their confidence.
Kind of like
But then-
Troy in the Goonies or something like that?
Maybe. I didn't just rewatch that for the Suspense is Killing Us Patreon. But then they decided to go, they wanted it a little more evil, which is delivered.
That's a choice.
I think. There's also like a group of girl dogs. Sorry, I'm like taking this over.
No, take it over.
I'm remembering the group of girl dogs who are like, Balto. they're like gossiping.
That's because Jenna is running with Balto. She was seen in the boiler room the other night with Balto.
There's the one girl dog who likes Steele, and then
The squeaky one she's
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, Steele.
My girl is away at boarding school.
You've talked about
please voice me. I want to voice a dog. I want to voice a bitchy dog in a cartoon. I've said this before.
You and I have talked about this before on the show that especially it's mostly for animated movies.
Yeah.
But like whenever there's an animated movie or like a CGI dog movie, the girl dog that you're supposed to sympathize with is always like kind of sleek and pretty.
She's always like a lassie-esque.
Yes, and this one certainly fits that bill.
Oh yes.
And then there's also like a slutty girl dog.
Yeah.
Who's like a weird Pomeranian with a lot of poofy hair and stuff.
She's like from New Jersey.
And she's got a fucking accent like this, and it's
and then there's like the Afghan hound who is also like, she just looks kind of like, nah, like, can I bum a cigarette, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
She's that. And then there's always like a horny chihuahua too, usually. Not in this one though.
There's like this expectation that they have like these very tropey, like almost sexist,
Do you guys
like
know the sexy
human
tropes of animated dogs? Because we sure do.
We're learning a lot every week around here. What ends up happening is there's like an outbreak of disease in the town, and the kids are all very sick.
And they ran out of antibiotics.
Yes.
Anchorage. Stop. Repeat. Urgent request. More diphtheria antitoxin. Stop. Gnome in grave danger. Stop.
By the way, you guys, true story, all of it, 100%.
This really happened. Balto was real.
Balto was real. Boris the goose was real.
Yeah, there was a talking goose. They need to send a sled team
because it's
to get the medicine.
Stormy that they can't have an airplane. They go through it too, and I kind of liked how they did this.
Gnome, pack ice closing in. Cannot ship antitoxin by sea. We'll try by air.
We tried to fly the plane, but we had to turn around. The train will only go so far. They like went through all these places. Guess you have to do the sled dogs.
I just want to put forth the idea that you shouldn't live here.
Yeah, not cool. Living in Nome, Alaska in the 20s?
Bad idea.
Or even probably now. No offense to our Alaska viewers. Do we have any? Viva@scarecrow.com. So
we love you and value you.
We do. There's 2 polar bear babies, though, I need to talk about.
No licking.
Uncle
He says he's glad to see you. We love you, Uncle Boris.
They were so cool.
Because they're both voiced by Phil Collins.
And they're useless, too. They're just like, they suck at
Except
being
that
polar
one time,
bears. That's
they
true.
saved Balto from drowning.
Geronimo!
Apparently, Phil Collins wasn't even approached for the role. He just heard this was happening and really wanted to do voice acting for it. This is his first, I don't know if he did voice acting after this, but they were like, yeah, I guess you're really good for this, I guess.
You're the producer, director, development executive on Balto. Your assistant comes into the office. The call is from Phil Collins. Will you accept the charges? The answer is yes.
He wants to voice the 2 dumb fat polar bears in your new movie.
Deal.
On the beak, what a bullseye!
That did it. Who did that?
So before they strap in, ready to do this, Balto and Jenna have a little romantic date because she's like, I want to know what's going on, so they go under the house. But Balto also shows her something so beautiful, and it's a bunch of broken glass.
See this? It's the polar ice caps.
Balto, those are broken bottles. And they're not half empty. They're all empty.
The sun.
Balto.
And to the north.
The Northern Lights.
And this is something that I've remembered from this movie forever.
The Northern Lights thing in this got me.
Yeah.
Because at the end, when everything's, coming together, and then he sees the Northern Lights form the wolf.
And he's like, yeah.
Oh, man. So cool.
And then she uses the glass for the Northern Lights to show him how to get home through the blizzard. Oh my gosh. diphtheria, no antibiotics. There's a huge storm.
They've missed their second checkpoint. They're off the trail.
Can't they send another team?
It's too dangerous for us and our men.
What about them little ones?
The medicine won't be here in time. We're going to lose them.
Balto has to go out there and rescue the sled team and show them the way home.
Because Steele, in his overconfidence, got them hella lost.
Yeah.
We're going in circles!
What?
And so Balto's like, well, I guess I have to come in and save the day. And he like marks the trees with his little paws.
Yeah, he scratches the trees.
Or his huge paws, I guess, because he's a wolf. Oh my God, there's also a scene where you see the guys at the village building baby coffins. Remember that scene?
Yes,
fucked up, 'cause
I
all
do.
The kids are like really sick.
I'm telling you, this movie is amazing.
Dark.
It's really good.
So dark. Oh,
This is one of the
man.
best dog movies I've done on the show.
Balto eventually finds the team.
He finds the team. He
Steele doesn't
manages
wanna-
to get the medicine back.
But Steele doesn't trust. Steele's like, no, I know what I'm doing.
How would you get us home, Dad? Well, I marked the trail. Like this.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get us back. I'm the lead dog. I'm in charge.
Even though the human that's running the sled is like passed out,
it's
maybe
interesting. Like
dead.
once it starts to be the adventure of him recovering the medicine and leading the team back, there is really not much stuff with a human person
or
driving the
he's
sled
just
team.
like a lifeless body on the sled.
They're bringing him home too.
And the medicine's in a container with a bunch of like glass containers. So
Mhm.
every time they're like going really fast, you see it and you hear it too, like jiggling, clinking around.
Balto, slow down! Wait!
Much of
It's
it.
like Sorcerer.
Yes, dude, it is. There's like a grizzly bear at one point.
That bear fight is insane.
I haven't seen a bear fight that good.
And
since the
Jenna's
Revenant.
the one who comes and saves him at the bear fight too.
And then Balto's like, you gotta go back home.
Yeah.
But thank you.
It's not a place for girls.
Oh man, she uses the Northern Lights trick to guide him home. But before that happens, Steele, who fell off of a cliff, whimpers home after scratching the trees to make Balto confused, so he thinks they're not going to survive. So he
That's
goes
so
home.
mean.
It's so mean. He goes home and he's like relaxing, and all the like New Jersey girl dogs are around him, like feeding him grapes and shit, even though dogs shouldn't have grapes. And
they shouldn't.
Steele's like, yes, it was so terrible. Balto didn't make it, but I somehow survived and I'm here. And then guess who fucking busts through that door?
Steele, you are positively disposable.
Okay. I can explain.
It's Balto. And he did make it, and Steele's a big fat liar.
And he saved the town. He saved the town. He saved the kids.
He literally saved the town, saved the kids, was the whole reason that Alaska got this vaccine.
He's the reason that there's an Alaska anymore.
Yeah.
Sarah Palin should thank Balto.
Yeah. No, I don't want Balto's name in her mouth.
You're right. Get
Balto's
name out of your
your
mouth.
goddamn mouth. I slap her on stage.
Oh, I'd love to see
Remember?
you do that.
This was the third and final film in Spielberg's amblimation, whatever, the post-Bluth like
that.
thing he had before
Yeah.
it all went to shit or whatever. But he also did We're Back, which I did love.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
About the talking dinosaurs.
At the end of the movie, it turns out that the little girl, who's the daughter of the rich family, is the lady in the live-action part.
And she finds the monument of Balto, which is a real monument in Central Park. I immediately texted my friend Corey and I said, why have you never taken me to the Balto monument?
Next time.
I
gotta be honest with you, I shed a little tear at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And I should have seen it coming. Like, I should have known.
Yeah.
But it got
And
me.
they had the baby husky with them.
Oh my God.
Oh, wait, this movie's really good.
It's
you
really
guys.
good. It was really good.
Talking about it actually now made me like it even more. with you.
I loved this. It just rips. It's like under 80 minutes. It's just like, it just burns. It's
To
so
be
good.
fair, just for like fact and history's sake, Balto did get a lot of credit for something that a dog named Togo actually did. Balto did do a lot of good shit, but Togo somehow was overlooked. I read a bunch of stuff about it, but there is a movie we can't find on physical media as of yet because of Disney called Togo, starring Willem Dafoe, which we
wanted that to be our next dog movie, but it's not on physical media, so
Disney.
We can't do it.
This was great. It could have. If you look at this, you could easily think this will be absolutely bad.
How many paws are you gonna give this?
I'm going to 3.5 out of 4 paws.
I'm going 4 paws.
Woo! I love it.
77 minutes. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
It's so good, and it's emotional. The animation is so good.
The animation's really good. The background, the sun and the skies in the backgrounds of this icy town.
And it does a really good job of integrating early digital techniques in, so the camera's moving around these cell drawings, and the characters are so well animated.
They got, I guess, in the studio when they were drawing, because they're this is drawing stuff before
It's all hand drawn, yeah.
They got 4 huskies to just hang out in the animation studios all day long, just walking around, just being dogs, so that they could sense the motion and how their bodies were at rest.
That's
and
beautiful.
Playing together and stuff. Very cool.
So if you're like us and you have dogs at home, there's nothing better than just hanging out with dogs while you're working.
Oh yeah, for sure. So if you haven't seen this, or if you haven't seen this since you were a kid, definitely watch Balto. We both highly recommend it.
This is incredible. As a 45-year-old man encountering Balto for the first time, I was astonished at how good it is.
Oh, I'm so happy I recommended it.
Yeah, good job.
Speaking of recommendations.
What's next? Well, we did a mailbag earlier with our good friend Brian Saur, who recommended this movie, Trapped. And we have a copy of it. It's probably of dubious provenance.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it anyway. So we're going to do Trapped, which is apparently about James Brolin trapped in a mall with a pack of vicious Doberman guard dogs overnight. So, I mean...
I'm really excited. And it's 76 minutes long.
I don't know how we could pass this up. We had other plans to do a different movie. We'll push that to the next episode.
There'll always be another dog movie.
We're doing Trapped.
So thanks, Brian, for the recommendation.
Thanks, Brian.
This has kind of been on our radar, I'm glad we got the push to do it.
This is going to be good.
So stay tuned.
After you.
Balto.
Big Paw's kind of running my family.
All right, that was episode 73.
Amazing. I think we had really solid energy tonight.
I feel really good about this episode. I feel like a lot of the ones you talked about I want to watch.
Good
I feel like we just really delivered.
Good recs. Great recommendations and mailbag from Brian. Sandra was incredible tonight.
Yes,
and just so many good movies. And I think this is our best episode in a long time.
And I think it's only going to go downhill from here. So you guys, sorry, this was it. This was it.
Slide whistle noise. Boom.
No, we're actually only going to get better from here. So please email us, viva@scarecrow.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our videos and comment. We still need some votes we got a lot of votes, but I would love even more votes for Raunch versus Romford next time we decide to do it, which should probably be next episode.
We're going to do a new Raunch.
And come into Scarecrow if you're in town, or check out our website if you're not, because you can always rent by mail and be a part of the Scarecrow community no matter where you are.
And also, we just love you.
We just love you. I'm in a really happy mood. This episode
I'm in a good mood.
Put me in a good place.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's fucking do it. All right.
Viva Physical Media 73. See you next time.
Bye.
To feel the tingle in your fingers, to feel the tingle in your feet.